Hey everyone. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to divide monomials. Now, the rules for dividing monomials are pretty much exactly what you would expect. It's the opposite of when we were multiplying monomials, meaning that we are dividing the coefficients, specifically the top coefficient divided by the bottom coefficient, and we are subtracting our exponents. Again, it's the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. The order does matter, especially when we get into positives and negatives for the exponents, so make sure it's always the top minus the bottom and the top divided by the bottom. All right, so taking a look at this example, we would do 12 divided by 4, which would give me 3, so that would be my new coefficient, and I would subtract the exponents 5 minus 3, okay, which would give me 3x squared. And that would be the final answer for this one. All right, let's take a look at a couple more examples. Okay, so here we have a couple of examples, and we see that these were going to end up with negative exponents, which have one small change of rule here. All right, so we go ahead and subtract our exponents. Again, it's the top minus the bottom, so we do 5 minus 7. That's going to be x to the negative 2. Now, we don't want any negative exponents in our final answer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the reciprocal of this, which will change our exponent from negative to positive. Okay, so x to the negative 2 is going to become 1 over x squared. Yeah, let's take a look at the next one. All right, so we have 6 over 10. Now, that obviously doesn't divide, but we can reduce the fraction there, so it's going to become 3/5. I'm going to divide both of those by 2. And I'll subtract my exponents, 5 minus 8, and I will get x to the negative 3. Now again, this x to the negative 3 is a negative exponent. We don't want a negative exponent, so the reciprocal would be just to move that piece to the bottom and make it positive. So it would become 3/5. We don't use the reciprocal of our fraction. Our fraction stays the same. The only thing that moves is our negative exponent. And again, it becomes positive. All right, in our final example, we'll take a look at one that has multiple variables. And you'll see it notes here that you can only divide, meaning subtracting your exponents, of variables that have the same base. All right, so that means my x's, I would be subtracting those exponents. My y's, I would be subtracting those exponents. All right, so the first one here, we have 21 divided by 3. That's going to give me 7. X to the 4th minus x to the 3rd. So 4 minus 3 is going to give me x to the 1st, or I could just write x. And then I have y to the 6th minus y to the 4th, which is y squared. All positive exponents, so that's my final answer. Okay, here I have 4 over 16. Now again, 4 divided by 16, that's going to be a fraction. It's going to be 1/4. 4 minus 6 would be x to the negative 2. And 7 minus 4 is going to be y to the 3rd. So not quite yet my final answer. We see here that I have this x to the negative 2. That's the piece that I'm going to have to use the reciprocal for. So everything else stays right where it is. And the only thing I am doing is I'm moving this x to the negative 2 to the bottom. It's going to become x squared. And y to the 3rd stays right where it is. And this would be my final answer. All right, so again, when you are dividing monomials, you are dividing the coefficients and subtracting the exponents using the reciprocal to make any negative exponent positive.